Welcome back to another episode of the 1111 Matrix Code Revealed. As always, I'm your host, Garrett King. Before I get started, I just want to take a moment and wish you all a very happy new year. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I apologize, and I'll talk about it here briefly why it's been so long. But definitely want to wish you all a very happy new year, and I hope this year is just simply the best for everyone. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens, as crazy as this world has become. So, but yeah, I hope everyone had a great holiday and New Year. We didn't really do anything for the holidays. We stayed at home, just made a nice dinner and watched Christmas movies and just really spent the time just relaxing. My husband and I have both been working so much that we really just needed a break, like a big time break. And so that's what we did. We just kicked back and relaxed. I've actually been off work for the past 2 weeks, using up the last of my vacation time. And just kind of using that time to work on this new information that I'm going to be showing you today, but also just taking the time to relax. That's why I've taken so long to do a video, because I felt like I was getting a little, dare I say, burnt out a little bit. This research it's not easy. And it takes a lot of time. It consumes a lot of my time. And when I work a full-time job, it gets to a point where your brain is kind of an overload. And that's where I was headed. I could feel myself heading in that direction and just telling myself, it's like, if you don't take a break now, you're going to lose it. So that's what I've been doing, just kind of taking a break, from it. I mean, it's the same thing as think of it like a band that's constantly on the road. They love doing music, they love performing for their audience. But when it's so many shows, consecutively, like day after day after day after day, and just constantly being on the road, even they need a break, And that's kind of like where I was. I mean, I had been going pretty steady and pretty strong, at this for well over a year. Just presenting the information and doing the research and sometimes too, when you're doing so much research, you become so focused that you begin to develop tunnel vision, in a sense, and sometimes you just need to take a step back in order to see the bigger picture. And that's kind of what I've been doing over the past month. Just kind of letting work consume my time and focus on work. And when I wasn't working, just taking a break, a much needed break. But then having those 2 weeks off kind of gave me that ability to sort of recuperate my brain and take a whole fresh new look at all of this. And I'm glad I did, because I've stumbled across something, which is what I'm going to be showing you today, that I think is just extraordinary. Through this whole entire thing, you guys have seen the progression. You've seen how it all started. You saw how, it went from this 1111 matrix code and then, kind of jumped over into Gematria and just developed. It just kept developing and developing and developing and developing until it finally led me to the Bible codes. And which is still very extraordinary and fascinating to me. And I was finding a lot of connections and a lot of information through the Bible codes. But at the same time, I felt like I was kind of veering off away from what started it all, which is the numbers, the 1111 matrix code numbers. And I still couldn't shake this feeling that I had inside that these two things were connected. The 1111 matrix code numbers and the Bible code. Something inside of me just kept saying, there's a connection, there's a connection, there's a connection. But I couldn't quite find it. But I think I may have now. And that's what we're going to look at today. And if this continues on the way that I think it will, this could be huge. It could be. I don't know. Don't know. We're just going to have to take a look at it, and going to have to keep going in this this new way that I'm going to show you, and we're just going to see where it takes us. That's all we can really do. So let me show you this new spreadsheet that I have and kind of explain to you what I've done. So way back when I first started doing these videos, and it may have been the second or third video, maybe even the fourth, I don't really remember. I had gotten the idea to split the numbers in two, because, and if for those of you that have been watching these since the beginning, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you know, when it was discovered that the numbers have a split, and that when you take the last four and add the remaining, that every single number will come back to 1111. Okay. So 1074 plus 37, 1111. 1037 plus 74, 1111. 1000 plus 111, 1111. And so on. You get the idea. And when I did that the first time, I looked at the numbers through Gematria, just looking to see, like, this value matches up with, you know, this phrasing. And there was a lot of connections doing it that way. But over these past 2 weeks, as I've been kind of taking a whole fresh new look at this, I got new ideas popping into my head. Very similar to how it all started. You know, when those ideas came into my head, like multiply 1111 times 333, you know, and getting 369963, and then the idea, the thought, now add 1111 back to that. You know, that whole process, that started up again. These thoughts coming to me. And actually, before I go any further, I just want to kind of talk about this past month that I've been absent. One other thing that has been going on is I've been seeing the number 1111 again very, very frequently. It's like taking that break. I don't know. It was like it was almost forcing the number to start showing itself. I mean, it was always showing itself, but it was doing it more so, okay? Or I was becoming, you know, more aware of how much it was showing itself. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But one of the things that that it did was I was watching the movie Nope. I've been wanting to see it, but, you know, like I said, I've been so busy, I just haven't had the time. And then since I've been taking this sort of break, I've been kind of going back and watching movies and TV shows that I've been wanting to see, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So the movie Nope was one of them. Now, let me do something here really quickly. I want to send this image. I had to take a picture on my phone because you can't screenshot a movie on your computer. It just makes the whole entire picture black if you try to do it. So I had to use my phone to take a screenshot from the movie, and that's what I want to show you here. Let me send it to my Mac. Come on, pop up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is a screenshot from the movie, and I want you to look at the number that's painted on the back of the van. Let's zoom in. It's FE1111. When I was watching this movie, I mean, that stood out to me like a sore thumb. Now, something interesting here is the letters F and E. F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. E is the 5th. So 6 and 5 is 11. Very interesting. So we have 11 there, and then we simply have 1111. It's so bold. I mean, I don't know if any of you have seen this movie, if you have caught that, but to me, it stood out like a giant sore thumb. And now that I say that, here we have a big thumb up here. So, something else interesting, the movie title, Nope, in Gematria, using the Jewish cipher, has the value of 155. And obviously 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 and 5 is 11, just like F and E, 6 and 5. Now, the phrase, I'm an alien, also has the phrase or the value of 155. And this is supposed to be a movie about some alien type being. I won't give it away, but you can see the connections that I'm talking about here. So tell me, folks, that these people that are doing these movies, that they don't know, that they're not aware. Tell me that they're not aware. I won't buy it. If someone says, nah, it's coincidence. No, it's not. No, it's not. So yeah, that stood out to me like I said, a sore thumb. It's right there. Okay. Now let's go back to this. All right. So I was talking about the skip, not the skip, but the split in the numbers. So we know that when you take the last 4, add the remaining, you get 1111. And then, of course, at some point, you wind up with 0 taking place. So, for example, this number here, 0963, well, 0 doesn't calculate at the beginning of a number, so you're just left with 963. 963 plus 148, 1111. So they all come back to 1111. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're just jumping in on this video, go back, watch the very first or second video that I did. It explains everything. But like I was saying, I couldn't shake the feeling that the 1111 matrix code numbers and the Bible code numbers, or not numbers, but the Bible code itself, that they were connected. There was a connection there. And I just didn't know what it was until the whole thought process started in my head. So here's what I did. I started with the number on the right and then went to the number on the left. Why? Because that's how you read Hebrew, from right to left. Now, this may get a little technical, but I hope I can explain it enough that you guys will understand and see exactly what I did. So, what you are looking at is just the matrix, the Bible code. Well, the Bible itself. Let's just say that. We're looking at the Bible itself in Hebrew, and I've changed the width of all of the letters to 1074. Okay, so that means there's 1074 letters going across, and then it starts back over, goes over 1074, starts over, and just keeps going. Okay? Now, by doing that, the next thing that I did was, knowing that each one of these numbers, always get letters and numbers confused. So, yeah, but knowing that 1074 plus 37 equals 1111, what I did is on the width of 1074, I counted over to the 11th letter, and then went down to the 11th letter so that I would have 11, 11. I selected that letter, copied it, put it into my spreadsheet. Okay, now the next number is 37. So I changed the width to 37 and did the same thing. I counted over 11, came down 11. Selected the letter, copied and pasted it, and placed it into my spreadsheet. And then I changed the width to 1037, because that's the last 4 digits of the second number. Okay. Counted over 11 and then went down 11, selected that letter, copied, pasted it in, and so on. Okay. I went through this entire process. So you can see that there's letters here that are selected. Okay. And they're all over the place. There's one up here, one over here, 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 down here, over here. And then there's some over here, and there's even one and another one right here. Okay. They're just floating all over the place. My original idea was that by going through and selecting all of these letters, that it might actually begin to reveal something. It might have a message of some kind. It was only after I got to this number here, okay, 3700741. Okay, the last 4 are 0741. 0 in front of the number has no value, so the number just becomes 741. And then the remaining numbers are 370. It's when I changed the width to 370 that something extraordinary happened. All of the letters that I had been going through and selecting lined up perfectly in 2 separate rows. I thought to myself, how is this even possible? Okay. Now keep in mind, it's 370. 37. Okay. Now we know that 37 plays into this whole 1111 matrix code a lot because we know that the numbers are going up and down by 37. So all of these numbers in this column are going up by 37. So it goes 37, 74, 111, 148, 185, 222. They're going up by 37. All of these numbers over here, 1074, 1037, 1000, they're going down by the number 37. So now let me kind of back up here for just a second. So when I got to this number, I didn't have all of the other letters selected because I hadn't finished going down through the process. I just began to notice that when I got to 370, the letters were lining up. Now, after I completed this and went back to 370, that's when I saw that the lines of letters were going much further down. Something else interesting took place. Now, when I got down to this number here, 1110001, I didn't know what to do. Okay? Because putting in a width of 1 makes all of these letters just go into a straight vertical line. There's nothing to the right of it. Okay? So I couldn't count over 11 and then go down to 11. There was nothing to go over to because the width of the entire matrix was 1. So everything that you're seeing on the screen here would be in a direct vertical line just going straight down. So the only thing that I could do was simply go down to the 11th letter and select it. Okay. But before I got to that point, I had stopped at the number in front of it. Okay, 10730038. So the last 4 is 0038, which simply just becomes 38 because the 2 zeros in front of it have no value. Now, with that being the case, making the width 38, I could go over 11 and down 11. So that's originally where I had stopped because, again, I wasn't quite sure what to do at this point. Now, with that being said, I want you to look. Hopefully you guys can see this. I can't enlarge this very well on the screen and make everything be on the screen all at once. So, as you can see here in my spreadsheet, we have 2 columns of letters. We have 2 columns of letters over here. Here's what's interesting. Now remember, I started on the right and went to the left. So I went boom, 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 boom. I just kept bouncing back and forth, going straight down. When you look at the column of letters over here in the Bible code matrix, this column here is the one that's on the left. Okay. Strangely, over here, it's the one on the right. And the letters are in exact order. Exact order. Going down. Okay? So if we look at, whoops, went a little too far. So if we look at the first letter here, it's the first letter here. Now I know that this one's selected. It should be, but remember, I didn't complete. I only went so far. So when I was first doing this, this would be the first letter. Okay. Hopefully you'll see this and it'll make sense here as I continue to go through this. So this letter is here. This one is here. This one is here, and so forth. Okay. Now, this is the column in which the numbers are going up by 37. So I began to look at this and question, is that how I should be reading the letters? Instead of starting at the top, should I come down to the bottom and start with the last one and start reading up? So what I did is I copied all of the letters, put them into a new website that I found called Do It in Hebrew, which seems to be giving much more accurate translations in Hebrew. And something very odd happened. So when I first pasted it in, because I just went in and pasted all the letters, I pasted it in without any skip between any of the letters. Strangely, by doing that, it translated this entire thing with no spaces between the letters. It translated it to, it should be calibrated as it is read. It should be calibrated as it is read. I was like, what? What? Like, how is that even possible? That's what I mean by it. It was giving instructions, it seems like. So yeah, I looked at that. And when you think about like calibrate, what does calibrate mean? Well, it means to adjust something so that it's in perfect alignment, which strangely it already was in a perfect line. But it had a different meaning. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a moment. So yeah, putting all of those, because if you look right here, this first letter is the first letter down here. Now there is a letter below it, again, that you have to keep in mind that I stopped here on this line. Okay, where it has 1073 and the number 38. If you look at the next line where it has 1110 and the number 1, let's zoom in, you can see where this letter positioned itself at the top, and then this letter, which is bet, positioned itself down here at the bottom. Let's see if I can... Yeah, you can. Hopefully you can see this, but it positioned it at the bottom. Okay. But again, I hadn't gotten to that point yet, so I didn't have those 2 letters. Okay. So, but again, it's just bizarre how I seem to get this message, this instruction telling me that it should be calibrated as it is read. Okay. And again, suggesting that it needs to constantly be adjusted as it's being read. This will make sense in just a moment. Okay, so the other column, the first column in my spreadsheet, became the second column in the Bible code matrix. However, it's running the other direction. Okay. So we have this letter here, which is down here at the bottom. Then we have Aleph, which is the next one. We have Yod, which is the one after it, and so on. Okay, so it's hard to explain, but the columns are reversed, and one's going up and the other one's going the other direction, different than how they are in the spreadsheet. But it did it on its own, okay? Simply by me going in and changing the width based off of these numbers and selecting the letter that was 11 over and 11 down. Okay, now with that being said, looking at this column, okay, and let me kind of explain my reasoning here. So this column over here on the right became the column over here on, well, hang on a second. Let me start over. This column over here on the left became this column over here on the right, okay? But because the numbers in this column are going up by the number 37, that's where I felt like it was instructing me to read from the bottom up, because the numbers are going up. So read up. Okay. Now, this column over here in my spreadsheet that is on the right became this column over here in the Bible code matrix on the left. And the letters are flipped. But because this column, the numbers are going down by 37, I felt like it was instructing me to read the letters going down. Hope that makes sense. And that's what I did here. So when I plugged this in, you'll see something here in just a second. So, but if you look, you can see that we have Hey, that's the letter Hey. That's the first one here. And then we have Yod, Yod, and Yod, Yod, and so on. Okay. So I was reading it going down. When I plugged this into the website, do it in Hebrew, and hit translate, this is what it gave me. The string is missing 11, 11. And the salvation that you have. Now, that was obviously very bizarre. However, when I first plugged this in, I didn't have it set up like this. So what it actually said was the string is missing, and then it said ha, ha, okay, like it was laughing at me. So it was H-A, H-A, and then and the salvation that you have. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, the string is missing ha ha and the salvation that you have. And I literally, for like a split second, I thought, okay, are you really making fun of me here? Like, are you laughing at me? Like, what is going on here? But as I was looking at this, it clicked that, remember, in Hebrew, every letter has a number value. Okay. And when you look at Yod, okay, that's this letter here. It looks like an apostrophe, okay? It's the 10th letter. That's the value for that letter, 10. And then we have Aleph, which is the first letter, okay? So you have 10 and 1 becomes 11, okay? And we can easily prove this. Let's go to Google Translate. And let's choose Hebrew. Okay. And then I'm just going to simply put in Yod and Aleph. And we get the number 11. Okay. We can see it. So when I realized that, that's when I put it down on its, just a line by itself. Okay. And they're in sequential order. So it goes Yod, Aleph, Yod, Aleph. And that's when I was like, wow, it's literally encoded in a strange way, because that's not typically how you would write 1111. Okay. Because if we continue, you see you get Yah, Yah. Okay. But when it was doing the whole entire translation, it was changing it to Ha, Ha. I think if we put or it could be yay, yay. But simply put it on two separate lines, you have 1111. So it was encoded that way. Now think about these two different sayings. It should be calibrated as it is read. And the string is missing 1111 in the salvation that you have. So, and again, I don't know where these thoughts or ideas come from, but it became like a puzzle. It was giving me instructions, but I had to figure out what the instructions were. So the first portion is telling me it should be calibrated as it is read. It should constantly be changing. And the string is missing 1111. I don't know how I reasoned this, but it makes sense to me now that I'm looking at it and going back over it. So when it says it should be calibrated, remember, it's constantly changing. It's not in a straight line. What I needed to do, because it's telling me the string is missing 1111, what happens when you take this letter or this number and this number and add it together? You get 1111. Okay, that's the string. And how did I originally start setting this up? I went with this number. I keep doing that. I went with this number, bounced to this number to this number, and so on. Instead of reading this down, what I was supposed to do is look at these letters and start here. Well, once I completed it, you start here. But literally, you start with the letter and go from right to left, right to left, right to left, right to left, back and forth. That is how it was meant to be read. And it'll be shocking here in just a moment what it says when you do this. But as I was continuing this process, okay, so like I said, when I got to 370, I noticed that the letters were lining up, but they weren't complete. Okay, as you saw it on the screen just now. It's complete now because I've already gone down all the way. But it wasn't when I was first doing this. Then as I came down to this number, 7400371, okay, the first or the last four is 0371, and then we have 740. When I change the width to 740 to get my next letter, this happened. They lined up again. Okay. They lined up again. But they're in a different order. Okay. The sequence of letters no longer match the sequence in which they're going over here. They're completely different. Okay. So we know that this column on the right was supposed to be this column over here on the left. So we have the first letter and it's the same, but the one after it is not. Okay. And then the one after it is different. Okay. So it's all the letters have been rearranged, suggesting that now it says something completely different. As I was plugging it in, it started saying stuff, but it didn't make much sense. And I don't know what I was doing. I think I was trying to scroll down, but somehow it started scrolling over to the side. And it went over here. And this is where I realized I have two new columns of letters. Okay, in perfect lines. And it's bizarre. There's a huge space in between both sets of columns, but when you think about this, we have two columns of straight lines. It seems to resemble 1111. Okay? But again, the numbers or the letters are in a different sequence. Now, when I was first doing this, I thought, okay, how am I supposed to do the bounce back and forth? You know, should I start with this letter, go to this letter, and then jump over to the other two columns and then do it? Well, that's how I started doing it, and it didn't make any sense. So what I then did was started with this column here, did the whole bounce back forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just putting all the letters in sequence going, in that direction, recalibrating, if you will. And then I went to the other two sets, or the other set, the other two lines. Whoops, stop. Sometimes this thing goes way too fast. And then did the same thing. So then I started up here, went over, and then came back over here, went over, and just went back and forth. Back and forth, putting the letters down in that sequence. And I got an entirely new phrase coming up. Then as I continued the process and then realized what I needed to do when I got to this number 1110000 with just one column, okay, I knew that I had to go down to the 11th letter. Then when I changed the width to 1110, let's just go ahead and do that. This is what happens. Ooh, they line up again, but in an entirely different sequence of the way that they're lined up. And again, they split. Okay. Whoop, go back. Okay. So now here we have, well, that's the first one. Sorry. Okay. And then here's the second set of columns. And again, the letters are in an entirely different order now, which produced something entirely different. And you're going to see what this is in just a moment. So that was the process, okay? And again, I don't know where the thoughts, the ideas come from to try it. It was just coming to me. And again, it was like a puzzle. You have to figure out the puzzle. And it was these phrases that were coming up in between, the things like telling me to calibrate. It should be calibrated as it is read. The string is missing 1111. That was telling me that by reading straight down that I'm missing the string. Because if you think of it in the terms of numbers, well, that's where it's missing the string of 1111. Because if I just went straight down 1074 and then went to 1037, how does that come back to 1111? It doesn't. It's missing the string. The string or sequence should go boom, 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 boom. Right, left, right, left. Okay, I know this is probably confusing. Hopefully it's making some sense. But we have 3 different times that it does this, where they line up in a row, okay? Happens on 370, 740, and then 1110. Now I started going past this and going in and selecting the letters. I'm going to continue this process to see what this continues to say. But let me show you what it's saying currently at the moment. Now, what you're going to see here in Hebrew, this is the whole entire setup. So the first time I plugged the letters in, I plugged them in exactly as they were selected. Okay? So making the width 1074, counting over 11, going down 11, putting in the first letter. Then making the width 37, counting over 11, going down 11, and doing the next letter. That's the first sequence that I put in here. Okay? The next sequence was doing it how the letters were lined up when I had the width at 370. And again, going right, left, right, left, right, left. Then the next sequence was when I had the width at 740, did the exact same thing with the new arrangement of the letters, and then reading them left, right, right, left, right, left. Boy, I'm getting myself all kinds of confused here. Yeah, so from right to left, and then did it again when I got to 1110. And again, right, left, right, left. So this is the entire sequence of letters as they came up. And this is bizarre, but this is what it says. Let's zoom in. It states, this is a new approach, and that as it should be, a new version of the book will be released. Let the Spirit of the Lord shine, and this is the way we will worship him. Then it goes on to say that for the sleeper, he is the one who is the one who is the one who is the one. Now, that last sentence seems very odd, but I feel like it's an encoded message as well. Because how many times does it say he is the one? Okay. So it says he is the one who is the one, who is the one, who is the one. And as you can see, I have highlighted the word one in red. So we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 11, 11. Now, what does this message mean exactly? So it says this is a new approach, and that as it should be, a new version of the book will be released. Okay, now it's interesting that it's using the word released. Makes me question if, it's not using a more modernized translation of possibly, maybe it's meaning to say a new version of the book will be written, or whatever. I don't know. But it is interesting that it's using that word released. But I have so many different ideas of what this could possibly mean. Is it stating that by possibly going through and doing what I've been doing, selecting these letters, that it's going to rearrange all of the letters into an entirely new version, I guess, of the Bible? I don't know. Or is it suggesting that with the coming reset in 2058, again, if this is to take place, that the code will be rewritten. So in other words, a new version of the book, a new version of the code will be laid down. It will be written in an entirely new way. And then it goes on to tell us, let the Spirit of the Lord shine, and this is the way that we will worship him, in this new version. And then when it says for the sleeper, now what does that mean, for the sleeper? To me, and I'm not saying that this is 100% correct. I'm just saying for me, it seems to be suggesting that for those who are asleep, that for those who are not woke to what is going on, or maybe even for those who were asleep but now are waking up, it is telling us that he is the one who is the one who is the one who is the one. It seems to be suggesting that this is an encoded message from the Creator himself. And for those of us who have been seeing this number, 1111, it is a direct communication to all of us. Yeah. I mean, this is just blows my mind. It blows my mind. I had no idea that putting these letters into this order by doing this method would produce the statement. And I'm beyond curious to find out how this is going to continue. But I can't even begin to show you, or because I have no way of knowing what the odds of this happening is, because this is not the traditional way that people have been using in searching for Bible codes. Okay? They've been putting in words and then looking to see which ones cross. Okay, I took an entirely different approach. I took my 1111 matrix code numbers, applied them, and then used the key of 1111 to get the letters. Now, when I say key, that does kind of take me back to what I was saying in one of my past couple of videos or whatever, when I was talking about Michael Drosnin questioning, will we ever find the key that unlocks it all? I'm in no way stating that I have found the key. I'm not saying that. But it appears to be some kind of key that is unlocking a portion of this. If it continues and it continues to produce statements that make sense and start revealing more and more information, then maybe it is the key. But I'm in no way stating at the moment that it is, because I don't know. But again, I can't tell you what the odds of this happening is, because the program simply doesn't work this way. And no one, to my knowledge, has even begun to even look at this in this way, the way that I have gone about doing this. But it seems to be connected. And that last encoded message for the sleeper, he is the one who is the one who is the one who is the one. He is 1111. Yeah. Now, just to prove this translation here, let me just copy all of that text. And again, it is I was using Google Translate quite a bit. But, my brother said, like, you should try different translators just to see if they translate the exact same thing. For the most part, they do, but I feel like I'm getting a more accurate translation from this website called Do It in Hebrew. So, Do It in Hebrew. So I just want to show you. Okay. So I'm just going to paste the text in that I just copied, hit translate. Okay. So just to show you that the translation is what I'm saying that it is, I've pasted it in here to the website, doitinhebrew.com. Stop popping up. So if we look, here's the text that I've just pasted in. Here is the translation. So it clearly says this is a new approach, and that as it should be, a new version of the book will be released. Let the Spirit of the Lord shine, and this is how we will worship him. For the sleeper, he is the one who is the one who is the one who is the one. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. So, yeah. So what that means to me is that I need to continue this process and see if these alignments keep happening, and see what's revealed. Because, again, when I sit here and say, what are the odds? I don't know what the odds are, but it seems incredibly bizarre that this process would produce this statement, and that along the way we would get statements like the string is missing 1111. It's literally the instruction telling us what to do. It should be calibrated as it is read. it should bounce back and forth. So this is going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see where this goes and what the end result will be. Again, if we get an end result, we've yet to get the end result. It just seems to be this whole entire thing going on and on and on and on and on. But it's, one thing keeps uncovering the next, and then that uncovers something else, and it uncovers something else, and it just keeps going. But I feel like I'm making tremendous strides in the right direction by going back and re-evaluating the 1111 matrix code numbers. Those numbers I felt like were given to me for a reason, and it's produced a whole lot of information, but again, no end result. There still isn't an end result, but there is progression. There is progression taking place. So, yeah. So this is what I've been doing, folks. And again, we're going to see where this goes. But I just feel like this is, again, a step in the right direction. And it's more incredible information being revealed. Just incredible. So, all right. Well, that's what I wanted to show you. Hope it makes sense. If you have any questions about the process, let me know. Again, I know it seems very tedious. It was very tedious going through and doing, getting all the letters, but that is the sequence, that I went through and how I came, to this conclusion here at this point. So, yeah. All right, folks, that's going to be it for this time. I will definitely try not to go so long before I do a new video. As I've said before, as the information comes to me, I will present it to you. But I needed that little tiny break, just to kind of step back, reevaluate, and look at the bigger picture and kind of go back to the root of how it all started. And that was with the numbers. And I believe I have definitely found a major connection between the 1111 matrix code, and the Bible itself. So, all right, folks. Until next time, hope you all take care. And again, I will definitely try not to go so long before doing another video. But definitely let me know what you think of this information. If you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah. So, till next time, you all take care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.